Let's now turn to the bottom line impact of achieving efficiency in user interface design. How will an investment in ensuring efficiency pay off? Very simply, investments in efficiency will pay off because time is money. It will indeed take an investment in time and expertise, and thus money, to achieve greater productivity for end users in their software tools. But in many cases, that investment will be significantly outweighed by the cost savings of that increased user productivity. Remember, design and development is a one-time cost, while usage with efficiency gains is ongoing. Let's consider a specific example. Imagine a customer support department where support reps process incoming mail requests from customers. And by the way, this hypothetical example, like all the hypothetical examples you will see in this course, is based on real experience. In our support department, imagine we know that 150 different types of support transactions are processed at a rate on average of 50,000 per year of each type. That's a total of 7.5 million transactions in a year in this department. Let's say we also know that using current software tools and averaging across all transaction types, it currently takes about 2 minutes to process each transaction. That means that processing all transactions of all types in a given year takes a total of 250,000 hours of support rep time. Given that each full-time service rep works 2,000 hours a year, this means that 125 reps are required to process this many transactions in a year. Note that so far all these numbers are facts. Any organization of this sort knows what their values of these parameters are. Now, let's imagine that in a planned redesign of the software tools used by these service reps, supported by the design guidelines and evaluation techniques we will be learning in this course, that we could reduce the time it takes to process each transaction by 10% or 12 seconds. Saving 12 seconds on each of 7.5 million transactions adds up to a savings of 25,000 hours of support rep time per year. And given that reps work 2,000 hours in a year, this time savings is the equivalent of 12.5 full-time reps. Organizations are not always looking to downsize staff through productivity tools. They're often instead interested in increasing the volume of transactions they can process without having to hire more staff. That is, they are looking for ways to grow their business without increasing costs. But either way, the bottom line value of a productivity increase is the same. Next, imagine we know that the fully loaded annual wage of these users is $50 an hour, or $100,000 a year. This is just another knowable fact in your particular organization. Regardless of whether we lay off 12.5 reps or increase our volume of business without having to hire 12.5 more reps, saving the cost of 12.5 reps at $100,000 each adds up to a savings of $1.25 million. However, unlike ease of learning benefits, which occur once for a given user, efficiency benefits are realized year after year, as long as the system is in production, so the savings accumulate over the lifetime of the system. In 7 years, a typical system lifetime, the savings in our example would be $8,750,000. Note that a decrease in time per transaction, that is an increase in efficiency of only 12 seconds, results in a very robust return on investment indeed. These huge savings likely more than cost justify the entire development effort of the new system, let alone the relatively small piece of that effort that would be required to ensure that the design of the user interface results in this level of efficiency gains. Generally speaking, when you have a large number of users and/or a large volume of transactions, even seemingly tiny improvements in efficiency per user task can really pay off, often dramatically, as in our hypothetical but completely realistic example. But also remember that attending to efficiency in user interface design can pay off in other circumstances as well. We could actually do a similar analysis of the value of investing in efficiency in the design of a public website. We won't take the time to do that here, But suffice it to say that websites that do not incorporate efficiency design guidelines can suffer from visitor attrition and loss of sales. They can also erode brand loyalty built up through other channels by feeling like poor customer service. The bottom line value of those benefits can be computed and compared to the cost of the time and expertise required to ensure efficiency in the design process. So, clearly, it can pay off to invest in achieving optimal possible efficiency in the design of software tools. But in order to engineer something, in this case efficiency, we need to be able to measure it. So now, let's turn to how we can measure the possible efficiency of a given user interface design.